we'll do a quick review. So remember in the last lesson we talked about slope-intercept form. Okay, so we had things like y equals 2x plus 6. So looking at this class, can you tell me what is the slope? What is the slope if you had that equation? The slope, by the way, we use letter m for slope. Okay, very good. You guys remembered. So slope is the number with the x term, so slope would be 2. And then class, what is the name for the number 6? 6 is called the what? Or maybe the letter to represent it. Say. There we go. Very good. You guys are awesome. Yeah, it's going to be the y-intercept. Okay, that's why it's called slope-intercept form, because we have the slope and the y-intercept. And the letter we use, by the way, is the letter B. So B is the letter for y-intercept. So in general, we would say y equals mx plus b, where m and b are just some sort of numbers. All right, so what we have today is we're working in reverse. So it is if you are given the slope and intercept, for example, can you get the equation back out? Okay, so this is going to be our level 1 type of question. We have 3 levels. So by the end, hopefully you can level up to level 3. Okay, so if you were given the slope is 5/3 and the y-intercept is -2, and we're told to write the equation. If you know it, you can type it in. I'll explain this first one, and then we'll give you another one to try in a moment. So we know it's, we can use slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Okay, so mx plus b. M is the slope, so we can replace m with the number 5/3, right? And then b is the y-intercept, replace that with the number -2. So plus -2 or -2. So the equation is already complete. This equation here has a slope of 5/3 and a y-intercept of -2. All right, and good, I see a few people that worked ahead and got that response. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to answer this one on your own, if you can type this into the chat box. If I said the slope is equal to 6 and the y-intercept is equal to, let's say, -1. So class, what would my equation be? Well, you guys are quick. Awesome. So let's see, 4 responses, 5 responses. Okay, good. So it's going to be y equals something times x plus b, mx plus b. Replace the m with the number 6. That's your slope. So we have 6x plus b is -1. So it's plus -1 or -1. All right, so this here is our equation. All right, can you check in? Give me 1 to 10. How are we doing? And are there any questions on our level 1 type of questions? We're about to level up to level 2. It's like a game, right? That's like a game. Just a fun, never-ending game. Am I right? Okay, so level 2. Here we go. All right, level 2. So this one, we have the, we're trying to find the equation of a line that contains a point. The point is 4, -3, and the slope is -2/5. Okay, so this one, we're missing the slope, right? In our format y equals mx plus b, we need m and b. So sorry, no, we have slope. We're trying to find the y-intercept. Sorry, I got it backwards. So here we have the slope, but we don't know the b value. All right, so I'll walk you through this one, and we'll let you try the next one on your own. But if you know it, you can feel free to type in the chat box. All right, so we can plug in what we know. So right here, -2/5, that is our slope. That's m. So plug that in. We have y equals -2/5 x plus b. Okay, so we've taken care of the slope. So really the whole question comes down to what is b? What is your y-intercept? Well, we already used the slope. The only thing left that we can use to even find b would be this point somehow. So how do we use this point? Well, this point is not your y-intercept. Okay, I'll tell you that much. Because your y-intercept needs to be straight up on the y-axis, up or down, so it's got to be 0, comma something, which that's not what we have here. So it's not the y-intercept, but it's a point with an x and a y component. So what I can do is I can plug in the x and the y component into the equation and solve that for b. So instead of y equals, we can have -3 equals. So put -3 in there. So -3 equals, and instead of -2/5 times x, we have -2/5 times 4. And then plus the b at the end. So here we have a little equation that we can now solve for b. -2/5 times 4, or 4/1, is going to be -8/5. And then we can solve for b by adding 8/5 to both sides. So if we add 8/5 to both sides, let me erase this now, we have b equals -3 plus 8/5. Okay, so that's what we have typed up here. b equals -3 plus 8/5. So make sure you know how to add and subtract fractions. Remember, you need a common denominator. This is -3/1 plus 8/5. So we need a common denominator, which would be 5. So this would be the -3/1. You could write as -15/5. Right? You know how to do that, I'm hoping. So then now we have a common denominator. We can add -15 plus 8. That gives you -7/5. So now we have our b value. We can plug in the slope of m and the y-intercept value, -7/5. We have -2/5 x minus 7/5. All right, let me check in. Give me 1 to 10 how we doing on this, and are there questions on this? So we're going to give you an example to try on your own here in a moment. If there's a question, can you tell me where your question's at? Is it with step 1, step 2, 3, 4, 5, or call it 6? So Oliver's confused. Can you be more specific? Or maybe just try another example and see how we do. Okay, I don't see any questions. We'll just try another example, and hopefully after this it'll make more sense. Is that sarcasm, Oliver? Not sarcasm. So do another example would not help. I don't see a specific question though. So I guess to recap, this might be helpful. To recap what we did. To recap, so we plug in what we know. So we know slope, we can just plug that right in, right? So we have -2/5 x plus b. Okay? So if we know that, the only other thing we need to figure out is what is b. To do that, we plug in this point, x and y. So that's what we plugged in here and here, x and y. We solve for b. When you solve that for b, you get this. So now we plug that in for b, -7/5. Okay, and then m was already given, it's -2/5. Okay, hopefully that helped a little bit. Let's try another example over here. All right, so this example, could you guys give this one a shot? Try to do this as much as you can on your own. So find the equation of a line that contains 0.13 and a slope 2. So we'll give you guys a head start on this. We'll begin explaining in about 30 seconds to a minute. Okay. Yeah, so Oliver, I think you got it. Yeah, pretty sure you got it. So I'm trying to do it in my head, see if you got it correct, but I think you did. So we'll check to make sure here in a moment. All right, see some responses. So it looks like we are kind of in consensus from those responding. So if you're still working, that's fine. We'll begin explaining it this time. Just try to stay ahead of me on this one. So again, we're going to use our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. We know m is 2, so we can plug that in right away. M is the slope. Okay, so the question comes down to what is b? So we can find that by plugging in an x and a y from this point to figure out what is b. So use this, plug a 3 in for y, plug a 1 in for x. So we have 3 equals 2 times 1 plus b. 2 times 1 is 2. And then we can subtract 2 from both sides to solve for b. We have b equals 3 minus 2, or 1. So b is 1, m is m was 2. Plug that in to get y equals 2x plus 1. All right, so let me ask my typical questions. 1 to 10, how we doing? Are there questions? And who got that correct? I think I saw a couple. I think Marin was one. Ashley is another. Porter got it. Awesome. A lot of 10s. That's great to see as well. Good job to Oliver. Are you guys ready to level up to level 3? Or do you guys need one more with level 2? All right, we'll do one more at level 2. We don't want to have too much fun and go to level 3 too quickly. Gotta beat every part of level 2. Okay, so here we go. Here's another example. So we have slope is 2/3 and passes through the point 0, 0. What would the equation of this line be? So after this one, we'll jump to level 3. So if you have your answer, you can type it in. Again, explaining in a moment. It's interesting. These problems are actually, in my mind, getting progressively easier for the level 2 questions. The first level 2 question had fractions, which made it more difficult. The second one we just did was a little easier. This one is probably the easiest because we have the zeros for that point. It's just kind of weird though, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't say it's easier, but it could be. Okay, so it's not going to be all zeros because we do have a slope. So I'll begin explaining it this time. So we'll see who got it correct. If you're still working, let me know. Or you can keep working. Let me know when you have the answer. So here we have y equals mx plus b. M we know is 2/3. That's your slope, right? So plug a 2/3 in. So that's going to be there for sure. So we have at least y equals 2/3 x. Then we need to figure out what are we adding? What is b? So in this one, you can actually either use logic or actually plug in the numbers. Here we have x and y both are 0. So plug in a 0 for x and y. So we have 0 equals 2/3 times 0 plus b. So 0 equals 0 plus b, or b just equals 0. So this number over here, right here, the b is going to be 0. So we have y equals 2/3 x plus 0, which can be written just as 2/3 x. And the reason I said you couldn't just use logic as well is because this point right here, 0, 0, is actually indeed your y-intercept. So that's where it's crossing the y-axis. So where it's crossing, it's crossing at the point 0. So that's how you can know right away b would have to be 0. All right, can you check in again? Give me 1 to 10 on this example. Are there any questions? And who got that correct? How many levels are there, Aaron, in this addicting game? There's 3 levels, so we're at level 2. You know it's addicting, right? Because everyone keeps coming back each time. So, I mean, you know, 3.14. Yeah, you can round to 3. Okay, we'll skip this one. We'll go on to level 3. Here we go. You guys ready for this next level? Level up. All right. So here, with level 3, we are told to find the equation of a line that goes through the points 1, -2, and 5, 1. All right. So I'll begin explaining this one, and then you guys can try to finish up or just kind of watch me go along here. So this one, again, we need M and B. We need slope and y-intercept. Okay, right now we know nothing. We don't know either slope or y-intercept. But class, do you remember? We have a little slope formula. Do you guys remember your slope formula, or can you tell me what the slope would be in this particular example? Okay, good, Olivia. So we have rise over run. So that's true. And then from that we could plug in numbers to find the rise and find the run. So you remember doing this where you do the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1? So that's what you're going to do here. You're going to try to find the slope. So just, you can use this as a review time. Can you guys tell me what would the slope be in this case if you plug in those numbers? You guys hear that siren? There's actually just about 2-3 weeks ago, there was a shooting basically like half a mile from my house, right around the corner. It was some guy tried to run down a police officer. The police officer shot the guy, and the guy died. Actually, this is a very safe and kind of, not, I shouldn't say upscale, but like a nicer place. So that's kind of very rare for us in this area. All right, so you should be trying the slope here. Hopefully you're coming along. So this is like 0.1. This is like 0.2. So this would be like x1 and y1. This would be x2 and y2. All right, so y2 minus y1 would be 1 minus -2. And then x2 minus x1, we have 5 minus 1. So you have 1 minus -2, so positive 3, and 5 minus 1 is 4. So the slope is 3/4. Okay, can you guys check in on that part so far? Can you give me a quick 1 to 10? I don't want to assume anything, but hopefully that's at least familiar now that you see it. So we did this previously. Okay, awesome. All right, so now once you have this, notice this is a level 2 problem now. We've taken level 3, and now we made it into a level 2 problem. Because level 2, remember, had a slope and it had a point. Here we have a slope and 2 points, which we have more information than what we need at this point. So we can just pick one of these points now and plug it in like we did for level 2. All right, so we have y equals mx plus b. M is 3/4, so we can plug that in right here. Now we can use either of these points to find b. So it doesn't matter which one we choose. You want to choose numbers that would be maybe simpler to work with. So let's pick the 5 and 1 just because there's no negatives. Okay, so that's the only reason. You can use either. We have x and y, plug it in. Y is 1, x is 5. So you get 1 equals 3/4 times 5 plus b. So we solve this for b. 3/4 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 1 is 4. So that's 15/4. And now to solve this for b, we just subtract the 15/4 from both sides. So make sure you know how to add, subtract fractions. We're assuming at this point you're at least decent with that. So what we have is 1 minus, so b equals 1 minus 15/4. And 1 is the same thing as 4/4. We need a common denominator. 4 minus 15 is -11/4. So after all that, we already found m to be 3/4. We found b to be -3/4 or -11/4. So plug that in. We now have 3/4 x and then minus 11/4. All right, can you guys check in? Give me a 1 to 10 on this level 3 problem. And are there any questions? Yep, very good, Marin. You will find, and she confirmed for us, for the class, she plugged in 1, -2, the other point, and she got the exact same answer. So that point, doesn't matter which one we choose, we get the same solution. All right, so now my last question is, do you guys need another level 3 example, or are we good to try the game? So level 3 or game? Okay. So I think the majority are saying game. So we'll get some extra practice in the game. If you need further practice after the game, you're thinking, oh, I'm still struggling with level 3. We can do maybe another one at the end. But I think to get the majority taken care of, we'll do the game next. All right. So if you can start heading that direction, we'll be right with you. It's a lot of repeat numbers in this Kahoot pin. So we got 3 zeros and 2 5s. It's unique. All right, so if you can start logging in to the game. By the way, speaking of crazy stories, while you're logging in here, one of my, okay, so like the west side of Hawaii, on Oahu is more like the ghetto, right? It's called Waianae, that's the name of the town. It's just a really poor area, a lot of homeless, and just a lot more crime. One of my buddies, he drives the bus for the school I used to work at. And he was driving over there with a bus full of kids, or a van full of kids, and so there was this guy who jumped in front of the bus. Basically, he wanted to get hit. He was like trying to commit suicide with the bus full of kids. Thankfully, my friend slammed on the brakes fast enough. But yeah, it's a little traumatizing for the driver and for the kids. But yeah, some crazy people out here. All right, looks like we got most everyone in. It's a pretty full game. This is not always normal, but it's good to have everyone in the game. Let's get started. Yeah, that was here in Hawaii. Yep, that was on the west side. All right, question number 1. What is the equation of a line with the slope 3 and y-intercept of 1? I almost got my leg run over by my brother-in-law. Was that last summer? 2 summers ago? It was just a freak accident, but I was okay. Yeah, y equals 3x plus 1. So if you put blue, you had it backwards. So m is the slope, that's 3. That goes with the x term. And the plus 1, the y-intercept, is the number by itself. All right. Ooh, very close scores. Good job, everyone. Okay, question 2. Write the equation of a line with slope equals 2 and y-intercept equals 1/2. By the way, I think I have 2 questions from each level of difficulty. I think that's what I did, if I recall correct. That's some interesting stories there. Ran over your brother, you said? He fell off. We got a friend who got, when he was a baby, his dad dropped him off the riding lawnmower, ran over his foot with the blade. He's got a big old scar on his foot. Okay, this is y equals 2x plus 1/2. If you put green, you're again getting it backwards. Okay, so the 2, the slope goes with the x term. So that's why it's red. It goes with the x term. The plus 1/2 is by itself over here. All right, so next question. And by the way, very close scores. Good job to everyone. Got Courtney, Oliver, Jadester, Marin, and Ashley. Okay, question 3. This is level 2 now. Write an equation of a line with slope of 3 and goes through point 1, 4. I gave you guys a minute. Hopefully that's enough time. Courtney, you're answering to a ceiling fan. That's pretty sad. Okay, I got 30 seconds if you need it. If you're totally stuck, you can at least use process of elimination to eliminate two choices right off at the beginning. Ten seconds left. Okay, so yeah, it's got to be one of those two, right? It can't be blue or yellow because slope is 3, so it's got to be y equals 3x plus something. So it's going to be red, though. I'll explain. So slope is 3, goes through 0.14. So slope is 3, and it goes through 0.14. If you use slope-intercept form, you plug a 3 in for m, so you have 3x plus b. The question is, what is b? So this is your x value, y value. You can plug this point in to the equation. So 4 equals, so plug a 4 in for y, plug a 1 in for x, and solve for b. So 4 equals 3 plus b. You can solve this by subtracting 3 from both sides. So b would equal 1. So your final equation would be, no pun intended, 3x plus 1. All right, so it should be red. Oh, we get some interesting stories today. All right. Okay, so we have Courtney first, Aaron second, Ashley third, Jadester fourth, Olivia in fifth. All right, next question, here we go. Don't let your stories distract you from the practice. So here we go, question 4. So write an equation of a line with slope equals 1/3 and goes through 0.64. That's I was gonna say that's funny, Porter, but that's not funny. It's kind of interesting. It's probably funny in retrospect. Oh boy. Hey Ronan, I'm not upset at all. A lot of those jokes can be funny, but I don't really want to start your mom jokes here in the class. I'm gonna share those outside of class. That's fine. I'm just visualizing that taking off and getting out of hand. 5 seconds left, by the way. Oh, was that different, Porter? Oh, brother. Oh, okay. Slope is 1/3. Point is 6,4. So slope is 1/3, and then the point is 6,4. All right. So yeah. So okay, Oliver, please stop. Okay, so we're gonna do y equals mx plus b. All right. So m is 1/3. So y equals 1/3 x plus b. Then you plug in this point, so you have x and y. So x is 6, y is 4. So you plug that in. So you have 4 equals 1/3 times x. X was 6. So 1/3 times 6 is 2. 1/3 of 6 is 2. Solve that for b. Subtract 2, b would equal 2. So your final equation is y equals 1/3 x plus b. B is 2, so 1/3 x plus 2. All right, so about half you guys are getting these. It's not too bad. It had to have been red or yellow because slope is 1/3. So y equals 1/3 x plus or minus something. All right, now we're leveling up to level 3. So here we go. Get a little extra practice with level 3. Here's your scoreboard. So very good, everyone. And next question. Write an equation of a line that goes through points 2, 1 and 4, 3. And I gave you guys 90 seconds if needed. If you're totally clueless, don't just sit there and wait to put something down if you're totally clueless. But do try it. So do your best on it. 50 seconds left. Okay, 30 seconds. The stories you guys shared reminds me of a bunch of different random stories. A lot of weird things. I was stabbed by a kid once with a pencil. I was stabbed in the neck, actually. I was spit in the face by a kid. It was like 5th grade. All right, should be blue, not yellow. So whoever was following blindly, someone said pick yellow. That was not the correct choice. So it's got to be blue. So let me explain this one quick. We have 2, 1, and 4, 3. To begin, we want to find the slope using your slope formula. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. Remember, you do the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 formula. So if you do y2 minus y1, you have 3 minus 1. x2 minus x1, you have 4 minus 2. So you have 2 over 2, which would equal 1 for the slope. Okay, so we're partway done. So we'll have y equals mx plus b. M is 1, so we have 1x plus b. And to find b, we can use either of these points and plug in for x and y. I'm going to choose this first one here because they're smaller numbers. That's the only reason I'm choosing that one. Y is 1, x was 2, so we have 1 times 2 plus b. So we have 1 equals 2 plus b. Subtract 2 from both sides. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So m is 1, b is negative 1. So in your final equation, mx plus b, we have 1x minus 1, or x minus 1, same thing. All right, so that's your solution. So very good. Half you guys got that correct. All right, last one. Here we go. So we have Courtney in the lead, Olivia 2nd, Oliver 3rd, Marin 4th, Ashley in 5th. Nice emoji, by the way. That's pretty cool. Okay, last one. Question 6. Write the equation of a line that goes through points negative 2, 2, and 3, negative 8. As you work through this, just be careful with the negatives. Okay, 60 seconds left. Yeah, chat is dead because everyone's working. That's a good thing. This is kind of random, Oliver. I'm curious. Okay, is your last name actually Wood? The reason I ask is because I know some Woods in Pennsylvania. Okay, never mind. I was wondering if you were related to any Woods in Pennsylvania. They were owners of a camp up there. Oh, it's not, okay. It's a Harry Potter character. Gotcha. Well, your teacher got suspended or you got suspended? That's terrible. You tricked your teacher. Wow. 10 seconds left, by the way. So put something down. 4 seconds. Okay, not quite as many on this one. I think the negatives is probably what's tripping people up. Negative 2, 2, 3, negative 8. So negative 2, 2, we have 3, negative 8. So to begin, we can find the slope. Okay, so we have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if this is x1, y1, this is x2, y2. You can plug in the numbers. Negative 8 minus 2, so y2 minus y1. x2 minus x1, you have 3 minus negative 2. So what you have is negative 10 over 3 plus 2 is 5. So negative 10 over 5 is negative 2. All right, so m is negative 2. Now you can use your slope-intercept form. You can plug in negative 2 for m, sorry. So y equals negative 2 times x plus b. So now we just need to figure out what is b. We can plug in either of these numbers, either of these points. Let's pick the first one just because number's a little smaller. So y is 2, x is -2. So plug those in. So 2 equals 4 plus b. Solve for b by subtracting 4. So b equals -2. So now we have everything we need for the equation for the y equals mx plus b. We have m was -2. So -2x. B is also -2. So we have y equals -2x minus 2. All right. So that answer should be red. And final score, we have Olivia in first place. Great job, Olivia. Perfect score, 6 out of 6. That's very impressive. All right, and then Courtney, good job in second place, only missed 1 question. Ashley, good job as well. Third place, only missed 1 question. Oliver, good job in fourth place. And then Marin, good job in fifth place.